Today I've got some exciting news to talk with you about. I recently got my hands on the new Woodland Mills Pro log stop system, and I'm eager to share my thoughts with you on that. Hey everybody, welcome back to a farm west of boring where life is anything but boring. Well, as you can see behind me here, there is the tree that we inadvertently took down. Well, actually the east wind took it down and blew it up into our roof. And as many of you know, we fought that for about 4 days trying to get this thing off of the roof here. But we've got a nice 44-foot, 33-inch at breast height pine log, and it's going to soon go on to the Woodland Mills sawmill. So here we go. This is what I got in the mail, actually FedEx, I think. So these are from Woodland Mills. Pro log support. There we go. Now these were $79 a piece and plus about $30 in shipping to get it out here to Oregon. And I think this one came out of, I'm not sure where this one came out of. Came out of Buffalo, New York. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, so here's the first thing we got is a manual. Maybe tells me what to do. Couple of nuts and bolts there. And it looks like this might be the handle. Little airbag. And then here is here's what it looks like. So let's go ahead and get this ready. We'll take it down to the sawmill and we'll put a couple of these on and we'll see how that works. Okay, so now we're down at the sawmill. Let's see how the sawmill held up under that ice storm that we had 3 weeks ago. Well, as you can see, my tarping system across the front using one of those billboard tarps did not hold up exactly as well as I'd hoped. So you can see that it really took a beating. Of course, we had the really bad windstorm, and boy, that wind just whipped on this thing. So it's pretty much toast. I don't think that there's going to be much we can do with that. Down here, it got a big hole in it from where it was hitting on the blade tensioner. So I guess I'll be replacing that. But let's pull it back here and we'll see what else has gone on inside here. Okay, so there's the mill, and it looks like it's held up pretty well. Before we had that really cold weather, I went ahead and drained out all the antifreeze or windshield wiper fluid out of the tank. And then just to be safe, I went ahead and drained everything out of the tubing, but I had to cut this to get it off there. I couldn't get that off of there, so I'm gonna have to put that back on there. Okay, got that part off. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to put a half a gallon in there for now. There we go. This is the ball valve that I put on. It was pretty simple, but I found that it's a little tough to get this adjusted just exactly at the right point to where it drips just as much as I want it to. But once it's there, it stays. So. And this is my lock system for how I lock the saw head here from moving back and forth. I just go ahead and put this, but now I can't get it out. Oh, there we go. I just go ahead and put this oak log stop that I made in there, and that keeps it from moving forward. I just have a 2x12 on there, which keeps it from sliding off, going off this end. That was a nasty storm we had. And for those of you who are curious about my DRO. That's the DRO I have. It's an iGaging EasyView DRO Plus. It's a 36-inch rail here. And I have that rail set on a piece of oak that's hooked in to this bar up here. I basically just turned this around from the regular log scale. Yeah, so this is a new bracket here. It almost looks like it got bent. I wonder if that was from the windstorm, that tarp. Looks like it got bent down a ways, because this should be up about here. But I don't think it's probably not going to make a difference, I hope. So let's go ahead and see if the old baby will start up here. Turn the gas on, and we'll turn the choke on. And then I've got to get the keys. Boy, how do you like that? That thing started up right away. No trouble. Now we'll go ahead and get this set. Now a lot of guys will talk about having difficulty, and I can see that the little rubber tip here is over there. I'm going to have to get that. And then I think the adjustment deal I had on here is down here somewhere on the ground. But okay, so a lot of guys have had comments about how they are not sure what snug is. And I guess I would say, you know, this is obviously freewheeling. So I would say snug is, and now I've got a lot of tension, so I would say that's snug right there. So snug, I'm going to go 5 half turns, which will put me to 2.5 full turns. So 1, 2, 5. So there's 5 turns, and you can see here that that's pretty much even there. So that seemed a little bit tight this time, but it might be a little bit tight. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know where that went. It's sitting around here somewhere. Look at that. That poor tarp. Took a beating. Okay, so this is the log that we were cutting on previously last time we were down here. So I think what I'll do is we'll pull that. Okay, so here's the new Pro log support. Pro log support, okay. That's what we got there. First of all, we'll go ahead and take these out. So let's get the instruction manual out. Hardware removal. Remove the hardware from the log support sleeve on the log bunk where the Pro log support will be installed. And so that is these two here. It's these two deals right here. So I'm sorry to take those out, but I guess I have to. So the new bolts are 13 millimeter. It looks like the old ones are 14. Can you see that? Okay, so those are those two there. So we've gone ahead and taken those two out. So the support holder has an M10 and that. Okay, so here is the Pro. So we have a top hole, bottom hole, and a bottom hole for the 130 max. Okay. Okay, next thing, it calls for assembling the log support. So that comes, well, heavens to Betsy, where did that go? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so we've got that, and we have those four. It shows, oh, I see, there's the nut there. Okay, so ensure the handle faces away from the log. Okay, so let's go ahead and see about doing that. So that goes on to there. And then that goes into there. And this okay, so I'm sorry, I am not getting this. This is not making sense to me. So this shows that puppy going through there, and then this bolt here going on the outside. Now when I put this through, oh, I see. So that needs to fit in there, but it's still, I don't know if you can see this, but this bolt's supposed to go on the end of this, but there's no threads for it to go into. Okay, I'm going to have to figure this out. I see. So that's, no, no. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's the answer. This part here goes into that. So this has got to go on to there, and then there we go. Now I've got some threads. Doggone it. Come on, camera. Repairing your file. Okay, so after I tip this thing over, I'm going to set it here, and we'll see if we can, you can see me doing this. So again, the nut fits on the end there, and this part comes through and goes all the way through the roller. So now we put that on there. So I have to go find a wrench. Okay, so I got some wrenches here. There's a little square shoulder here to where you can hook a wrench on, or vice grips. I'm going to put vice grips on it. I'll show you right here. this is easier. Okay, so I was going to go ahead and take this out of here. It might make it a little bit easier. And here's the little tension thing here. And I need to have a hex key to get that loosened up. So let's see if we can find that. Okay, there we go. So now this can come out of here and I can tighten this up. Okay. So now they say that it should face away from the log, so it needs to face out this way. Do it properly here. Okay, so now it's facing away. And I'll tighten that up. A little bit hard to do. Come on. Crappy vice grips from Harbor Freight. Okay, so I've got that tightened up. And you can see it's facing away. So we'll go ahead and put that back in there. So one thing I'll point out here is the fact that when I got these, this support was already into the bracket and it was tightened down with this hex nut, hex screw. The way the manual is showing it is that this was not in here. So that's probably the first thing you want to do when you start this is you take this out and then mount this up and then put this on next. So that's what we'll do next. We'll go to the, go down here and we'll go ahead and mount this. I will point out that this is made from some pretty stout metal. This piece right here is probably a good 1/4 inch, maybe even 3/8. So this is not it's not a lightweight thing. And the weld could look a little bit better than that, but it's not too bad. So let's go ahead and mount those on there now. Okay, so we got 2 nuts and 2 bolts, and it looks to me like goes on there like that. Shows the screws coming through from the outside, or the bolts. And again, I think this takes a 13 millimeter instead of the 14 millimeter. So the looks like that is threaded. I guess it is threaded. So yeah, I gotta. Now, one thing I'll point out here is the fact that once that screw is in there, obviously you're not going to be able to use a regular log stop here. So that is definitely, for me, that's sort of a drawback. Now getting this started on here, it's not real easy. So what I would suggest is to put the nut on the bolt and then tighten the bolt up so you get it nice and. Okay, so we've got the bottom hole. For the 130 max. So I've got the nut on the bolt and it's tightening as I'm going along. Okay, so there we go. We got pretty solid. I've got the two nuts on the bolts. The bolts are tightened up. So now, since I have this already made, we're going to go ahead and slip that in. Go ahead and slip that in there. So now I can see that what the action is here is that this is in here pretty solid right now, and that the action, obviously I have to tighten that bolt, that screw up down there. But the action is that you got to lift it, pull it out, and then you're going to adjust. It's going to adjust based on which one you want it to go into. So if you want it all the way down, you go like that, and then that holds it in there. If you want to take it out, you take it out. So let's go ahead and tighten that up a little bit. See, that's a little too tight. Doesn't work the easiest, so I'm gonna so that has to be adjusted obviously just right. That's a little better. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the other one together, and then we'll see how it operates here. Okay, here's the second one. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fumble fingers. First thing I'm going to do is take this and loosen that up a little bit so that this will come out of there. So now I can take that out. First thing it tells me to do is take these two bolts and nuts, and we're going to go and install this down at that end down there. Now on this one here, I had to take the existing set bolts out. Down there I don't have them in, so this will be easy. So we'll go ahead and do this. That right in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put this nut on there right away. Before I tighten it up, I'm going to go ahead and get the bottom one started. Okay, so I've got that done. The 2 bolts and nuts through there. This is a 130 max, so we got the lower bolt, the upper bolt, and now we will go put together the log support. So first of all, I got to take this off. Put this in, slide this through, get that, ouch. So now, let's put this down through here. And then tighten this up enough. That's too much. So straight up, tighten the washer. So now, pull it back, put it up, lock it in. So I think we're set. So now let's go ahead and see if we can get a log up against there, and we'll see how that works. So we can get this thing going, but I need to move the log down this way a little bit. So what I'm going to do, okay, so we'll see if that lifts evenly. Looks like it's about in the middle. Okay, so that takes quite a bit of pressure off of there. I can move it around now. Pull it this way. And we'll get it centered here. So now the big test is going to be so there's what it looks like. Now typically you probably wouldn't be using these with a cant, because the cant can just go up against there. But we're talking about turning, and this isn't such a huge cant, but I'm thinking that my thinking is if you're turning it, if you have it right up at that height, that's too high. Okay, so there we can adjust to that. So now, comes down to turning this thing. For turning logs, I have purchased this hook, and I've sharpened the tip of it here. You can see I've sharpened the tip of it. And I'm going to try and use this along with the hoist to turn my log. So let's see how that works. So what we'll do, take this off of here. So I think maybe I can just go ahead and hook it onto there. And when I roll the log, I want to roll it that way so that it goes up against those bunks there. Now, if any of you have not seen this before, this is what my invention was. It's called a Gustaf-Guard, and it will go into the normal log stops with this little wing facing out away from the log. And what this will do is it will prevent the carriage, the saw carriage, from coming down and hitting the top of a log stop, because the carriage will hit against here and prevent the carriage from going any further. That way you will prevent ever hitting a log stop with your saw blade. And this is the way it works. If the log stops here like this, you put that in there like that, and you've got a 100% guarantee you're not going to hit this log stop with a saw blade. So let's go ahead and try this. So we want to roll that way. So I'm going to... Now I understand that if you wanted to use a cant hook on this, it would probably easily turn with a cant hook. But I don't, for one reason, the cant hook is up in the garage. And secondly, I wanted to just try out this hook. So we'll get that to go in underneath there. Okay. Now, one of the questions will be, how are these turning deals working? And in this particular case, they're set high enough that this isn't going to get hooked up on the top of that, so this will work. I could turn down, but let's just go ahead and finish doing this one. Let's see which one. Yeah. Wow, that was pretty nice. Got a little bit of punkiness right there. So now what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and set these a little bit lower. So again, I'm going to pull up, out, down, and I'm going to put them down about that size there. Pull up. I guess there's... I think that's about the same height as the other one. So let's try rolling that one. Get that in as far as you can. And then it hooks on there. And let's see how it's working over here. Yeah, I can see that there's some benefit to that, because that would keep it rolling. Now, if I had the regular log stop in there, it would tend to get hooked up. So let's just go all the way through and let's see how it works here. Oops, wrong way. Actually, it's rolling it away. It's on top of there, so it's actually rolling it away. So if I just keep going, it should just roll off there. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, well, that's the test there. It is hung up on something. Oh, look at that. It's hung up. It's hung up right there. So that didn't solve the problem 100%. But I guess if I give this a little shove, there we go. So I have to say that I think that that works better than what I really thought it would. It's not really a bad solution. The only problem that I see with it is the fact that once you're in this position right here, any height, if you're up here and your saw blade comes along, you're going to saw into this and ruin this. If you're down here, your saw blade comes along, it's going to hit this. So it's not going to take care of the saw blade problem. And I guess if you go all the way down, okay, so if you go all the way down, it gets out of the way. Same way with this one here. If you've got it set up high enough, and the saw blade comes along, it's going to cut into this. So it's not going to take care of sawing into your log stops. And if you ever do saw into this log stop, you know, your likelihood is that you're going to ruin it. But here, drop that down, and that gets out of the way. So all in all, I would say that this probably gets an 8 out of 10 on my scale. Now again, my solution to the log stop cuts problem, is what I call the Gustaf stop, or Gustaf-Guard. And the beauty of the Gustaf-Guard is that if the saw blade comes along at this level here, this is going to hit the wheel door. It's going to hit the wheel door down there, and it's going to stop the carriage from coming along. So it can't. It's not going to go past that, and you're not going to hit this. So a solution, I guess, would be possibly get the best of both worlds here. In this particular case, let's say your pro support was here at this level here. You could always put a Gustaf-Guard in here. So let's say, I don't have a tape measure, but let's say you're, okay, so it's that high there. So let's say that was set at 6 inches. And so I could set this at 6 inches, maybe 6.5 inches. So that's at 6.5 inches up. And if this was below that level, this would protect it. This would guard against it, so that if you were coming along and this distance here between the blade and the bunk was less than 6.5 inches, this here would hit here and prevent the carriage from going any further. Maybe I can move that up a bit and we'll see how that works. I'll set this. Okay, so there's the blade height, and we'll set it a little bit higher. So now you can see that if this blade was to come along, it would hit that. Take the Gustaf-Guard, slip it in there, let it go down until it clinks. That's why I call it, what we call it, to clink it. You clink it. Now you see there's the distance. It saves this blade from hitting your log stop. There's how it works. So I think every sawyer should have a set of these. You know, one would do it. You could always put one at the beginning and always make sure that that log stop was higher than any other of the log stops or log supports. Or you could have one of these on every log stop. Would be the safest. But in any case, the Pro log supports from Woodland Mills work out pretty well for turning logs and being able to easily change the height on them. The height adjustment is very easy, but they're not protected against hitting with a sawmill blade. So as long as you can keep from hitting those with a sawmill blade, it looks to me like those might not be a bad idea. One of the things that I've noticed about it is very well built. It's durable. It's using high quality material. Those are thick materials. I don't think that this is going to get broken easily. Working with really big logs is going to be a breeze. One of the standout features of this is the adjustable height. With a simple adjustment mechanism, you can easily set it to the perfect height for your logs. The flexibility is a game changer, especially when dealing with logs of various sizes. Installation, well, you know, it wasn't tough, but there were some issues that I had, especially with getting these nuts on the back of these bolts. The instructions indicate that this piece here is not into the support when you receive it, but in my case, this was in the support, and so I had to figure that out. It wasn't a big deal. I think that Woodland Mills has done a great job designing this log support for easy setup. It took me minimum time to get it in place and ready to roll. The manual provides clear instructions, except as I said, there's a few minor glitches in the instructions, but it makes it accessible even to those new to sawmilling. I have to say, after putting the Woodland Mills Pro log support through its paces, I'm pretty impressed. It delivers on its promises of sturdiness, adjustability, and ease of use. If you're serious about sawmilling, this is definitely something to consider as a valuable addition to your setup. All right, folks, that wraps up today's review. If you have any questions or there's a specific tool or accessory you'd like me to review next, give me a comment down below. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and subscribe for more content. Until next time, happy sawmilling.